Welcome back, Hordlings, to more Tex Murphy Overseer.
If the implant I'm carrying around is on this list, it must be number P333. Now I need to figure out which of the kamikaze implants will neutralize it.
Initiates a photoregion process, tethering to target biomolecules, and inducing specific nerve cells to grow into a grid pattern. Nerve cells are then connected to signal processors, which control a specific group of neurons. Can be used to enhance brain functions, memory, mood, and/or sensory perception. Boom shakulaki. An N216 kamikaze. Oh, there's an access card also attached to the clipboard. We'll take that. Some kind of implant syringe. You. Keep that shit away from me.
Seems to be a large light panel.
Aha!
This was Greg Call's pass card. The mysterious informant said I'd find answers to all my questions if I found this place. Maybe this computer is the mother lode.
USF professor dies in a crash. Valerie H. Davis, 48, professor of physiology at the University of San Francisco. Died in a one-vehicle speeder crash Tuesday evening. Sucks to be her. Another pass card reader. If Tex decides to pick it up, that is.
Security card reader. Must be for the autoclave. Wrong pass card.
Wrong pass card. Right pass card. And 216. We'll take that.
injected yourself with that thing?
I had to. Then I went into the scanning booth. The fun was just starting. Rubik's keyboards, putting the challenge back into data entry. Oh, a chip-making device manufactured by Frito Intel. The two mega corporation merged a few years back and cornered the chip market. Man, talk about wired for sound. Art Garfunkel could rock on these speakers. Oh, a chip-making device manufactured by Frito Intel. The two mega corporation standard keyboard. Oh, a chip-making device manufactured by Frito Intel. The two mega corporation merged a few years back and cornered the chip market. Rubik's keyboards, putting the challenge back into data entry. Lynx LS mug. I've got to play that one of these days. This thing gives me flashbacks to my former dentist and the horrible wisdom teeth incident. The green diamond must indicate the location of the P333 implant. I have to move the kamikaze implant into one of the blood vessels where it will appear as a blue cross. Then, I have to navigate it until it reaches the implant and neutralizes it. Uh-oh. Those flashing dots look like trouble. Must represent antibodies. And I guess they're out to get rid of the new infection. I'd better steer clear.
The hell?
I'd neutralized the Overseer chip, which someone had designed to be fatal in my case or a controlling device to others. I still had no idea who was pulling the strings, but as I stepped out of the removal station, I heard sounds just outside the main entrance. I ducked behind a display panel and waited to see who it was.
This douche nugget.
Hello? Hello? Okay. I'm really not very good with surprises.
Well, it isn't my mystery man. What's your name?
Larry Hammond. I would have told you earlier, but I have some serious trust issues going on. With all that's happened, I've got the right to be a little paranoid.
Yeah, I guess you do. You haven't been using the code name Poison Pawn, have you?
No. Why?
That's not important. How'd you get here?
I followed you. I wanted to make sure you came here alone.
Well, I hope you were more careful about being followed than I was.
Now, I have a very strong sense of self-preservation. I even brush my teeth carefully.
Yeah, it shows. Why don't we just start at the top and see what you know? Tell me about Carl Linsky.
Well, Linsky and I both worked on STG. But I didn't know him back then. I recognized his picture in the paper from when he had his suicide.
Well, that's helpful. How about STG?
It was a really mysterious operation. When Greg brought me in to do some programming, I didn't know anybody on the design team, and we weren't encouraged to get to know each other either. And once we got our instructions, we went off to work in different places. None of us knew what each other was working on.
So, who's in charge of this little circus?
Greg had been there the longest. He was pretty much running the show.
So is he this overlord I've come to hear so much about?
Oh, no, there had to have been higher-ups. I knew Greg for a long time. We were in Mutant League together.
Oh. Just so I understand something here, the reason you got in contact with me is because you wanted me to find Carl's lab, right? Why?
Well, early on in the program, Greg got really paranoid and relocated his base of operation. And no one knew where he was at. I didn't even see him until after I finished my work with STG. A couple of weeks ago, after all the mysterious deaths, I decided to go underground and get a read on my life expectancy. Well, you see, I was underground, and Greg found me, which didn't give me a great sense of well-being. Anyway, he said he needed my help.
To do what?
He wanted to find the pass cards we'd all been issued. You see, all 8 of us received these cards at the beginning of the project. They were used to transmit data from wherever we were working to some sort of central computer. Now, the whereabouts of that computer, that was top secret.
Well, what about the chess moves?
Oh, I don't know anything about those. I think they were Greg's idea. He designed the cards.
And you've got a card.
Yeah. You take it. Just holding the thing next to my skin just gives me the hives.
No, it's that polyester.
Really?
You told me if I came here that I was going to get the answer to all of my questions.
I said that? No, I was just guessing. I've got something that might help. Now, Greg gave me this the last time I saw him. Now, he said, don't open it unless something happened to him. I think something happened to him.
What are we supposed to do with it?
What are we supposed to do with it? It's your problem now. I told you everything I know. I gave you a pass card, and I gave you what Greg gave me. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go somewhere and try not to get killed. Hasta la pasta, baby.
Hey, Larry. Thanks for the help.
Anytime.
So Larry was the mysterious informant. And he said he wasn't the poison pawn. Well, what was in the envelope he gave you?
There was a note written from Greg Call to Larry. There was more to the content of the note than met the eye.
Let's check it out. Larry, I'm not sure if I should tell you this, but can you help me to figure out a riddle? This can be found out if you know my tendency to always pass along a good word and see what follows. Putting this message in a note was the idea. I had first because of the letters you've written me. Good luck, Larry. I'm relying on your most excellent and proven brain to carry on in trying to achieve the ultimate goal. Greg. Notice the envelope said Ward on the front, which backwards is draw. All kinds of other...
Carl told Larry not to read this
shit.
message unless something happened to him. There must be some sort of secret message contained in this note.
Bunch of cool chess moves.
Carl told Larry not to read this message unless something happened to him. There must be some sort of secret message contained in this note. Larry's pass card. The corresponding scrambled password is written on the envelope Larry gave me.
Alright, so figuring this out, basically what you do...
Carl told Larry not to read...
Jesus.
Carl told Larry not to read this message unless something happened to him.
If you look, starting
There must be some sort of secret message contained in this note.
on the first line here, if you take the fourth word of every other fourth word, you will get, if you can figure this out, if you can figure, you got to read every fourth word here. If you can figure this out, my password follows. And then from there, in the first letters, 2, 3, good am most brain, in the. So you take the first letters of good am most brain in the, which is Gambit, and you get the word gambit. And that's the password we're going to need.
passcard reader's hooked up. Now I'll need to scan the passcard. This was Greg Call's passcard.
To Larry, or whoever's watching this, I'll have to assume that my first plan has failed, and I'm probably dead. The purpose of this message is a warning, and afterwards my computer will reformat, so listen up. I've enjoyed a long friendship with J. St. Gideon. We founded Gideon Enterprises together years ago, and I believe that he is a good man and has honorable intentions, regardless of how I may disagree with his philosophy. For years he has worked on a program called Overlord, a worldwide surveillance system which would allow him ultimately to control key political figures, thereby speeding up the world peace process. This was all made possible about a year ago. A breakthrough in nanotechnology allowed us to create microscopic devices that, once implanted inside someone, would allow us to control the physiological reactions, the chemical reactions, make the person a slave to positive response. And in this way was born the STG project, sort of a Pavlovian remote control program. We recruited 7 other scientists and put them on different phases of the project so none of them would know what the entire project was about. We gave them pass cards which would allow them to transmit data to a central overlord computer. I found out shortly thereafter that John Klaus, one of the scientists, was intending to sell out the project to the Law and Order Party. When I went to Gideon with my fears, he disregarded them. Either he knew something that I didn't, or he was simply too obsessed to listen to reason. Regardless, I took it upon myself to implement a fail-safe program into Overlord, which I called Stalemate. Now, in order to activate this Stalemate fail-safe program in the Overlord system, all 8 STG pass cards are required. I made a plan to track down the other 7 pass cards. I started with Carl Linsky's home once I'd learned that he'd committed suicide, but I was unable to find the card. The thought crossed my mind that since Carl Linsky and John Klaus were friends, that possibly Linsky staged his own death and is working with Law and Order and John Klaus. But I can't substantiate that. At this point, I'm not sure who I can trust, outside of Larry Hammond and J. St. Gideon, though I'm not sure how much J. St. Gideon will listen to me at this point. Regardless, Gideon's program, Overlord, must be deactivated. If not by me, then by whoever's watching this message.
I knew it!
You knew what?
Sylvia was behind the whole thing. Oh, it all fits together now. Of course. Linsky staged his own suicide.
Okay, you got yourself an interesting theory now. Play with it.
Well, okay. Linsky worked at the clinic, right? And, well, there's a lot of patients there, and, you know, maybe one was in a coma or terminally ill, and Linsky finds one that is about his same size, maybe even looks like him, and I think that's where Linsky probably gets the idea. So he dresses the patient in his clothes. He, you know, plants the wallet, the keys, and the suicide note on him. They, you know, dump the body in the bay, and it's recovered, and who identifies it?
Sylvia.
Yes, I finished that. Well, did I get it? Did I figure it out?
Maybe.
Okay.
So,
So, well, then why don't you tell me the rest?
actually, I'm fascinated by your story. Why don't you tell me what you'd do next?
If it were me, I would probably go to the Law and Order Party headquarters.
That's exactly where I went, because now I had Robert Knott's pass card. This time, there was no sign of our friendly night watchman, though I figured he was around somewhere. I doubted the coffee trick would work again, so I had to figure out another plan.
Figure out another plan in another video. See you soon.